Hello.
Hello there.
How's it going?
Doing well. How are you tonight?
I'm tired, but I'm okay.
Same,
But that
same.
seems to be my constant state.
Yeah. Yes, yes, yes. It's definitely, and especially around this time of year, I always feel more drained than usual.
Well, and it's that week where you don't know what day it is between Christmas and New Year's.
Yes, that awkward week.
Yeah, I know. Well, and also like I haven't been working either, so like that's been really I have no idea even before Christmas. So, yeah,
So your
living
perception of time is off.
yeah, very much
Yeah.
so. Well, and it's been weird because it's like I haven't worked my regular job since July, and then I've just been
Uh,
doing a lot of like side hustle things, and hopefully I'll be going back to regular life next month. We'll see.
nice. Yeah. Well, hopefully.
Yeah, because I normally work in the entertainment industry. I'm a glorified personal assistant, so
Oh, very cool.
yeah, I like it, but I don't like being unemployed for so long.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the strike needed to happen.
And I'm glad they came to a conclusion or like a resolution, I
Yeah,
mean.
I know. It took a minute, but they finally did. So hopefully, now I'm just worried because I guess the union is up for negotiations in June. So
Oh,
we'll see.
wow.
We'll see. Um, so tell me about your podcast. Like, where did the idea and all that come from? When did you get bit by the bug, I suppose?
Yeah. No, well, first and foremost, thank you so much for having me on today.
Of course.
But yeah, the podcast, it kind of was the bug kind of bit me, I would say, like in back in 2018. I believe one of my cousins actually came up with their own podcast. But I was working full time. I had a 50-hour work week, and there was just no time for that. And then after the pandemic, after 2020, I believe it was April of 2021, I quit that full-time job and found myself with all this time on my hands. And then two two of my other friends were starting a podcast too. So then
Hmm.
I was like, you know what? I think I'm gonna just go for it. Like why not?
Yeah.
And yeah, and then the Scream Queer podcast was born. And I mean, I wasn't really into true crime and all of that, but I was really into horror. And
Hmm.
then, like, as was starting it up and like brainstorming and everything, I started listening to true crime podcasts, and I was like, holy cow, like, maybe I should do like a hybrid, like true crime horror show, with other elements in there of like just like everyday talk, like life,
Yeah.
answer questions, and then it just sort of grew from there. And then I started that in actually November of 2022. So it took me a while, but yeah, here we are.
Yeah, sometimes, I mean, it takes a minute. I always had the idea in the back of my head, but I was like, I don't know what the hell I'd talk about. Um,
Yeah.
but then I got on my friend Ricky's podcast. I swear to God, I mention Ricky every single fucking episode. He has this podcast called Rick or Treat.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I adore him. He's
Great
wonderful.
podcast. Yes.
Yes. I was on two episodes and then I got bit by the bug then, and I was like, well, maybe I will. And that's where the name came from. Ricky named it.
Trauma Donna
Tramadana, yeah.
was born.
You
I
know,
love that.
it's funny because a lot of people are like, "Well, I don't know if I want to be on your show because I don't know enough about Madonna." I'm like, "It's not even about Madonna. It's not even about anything. It's just my whole thing is like wisdom through conversation, getting past like the
Yeah.
bullshit and just talking about real stuff."
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. So I'm having my Oprah moment,
Yes. Yes.
and it's fun. It's very therapeutic, and I've gotten to interview a lot of really cool people, and I've gotten to know a lot of people through this. A lot of podcasters I've interviewed. It's actually kind of fun because I think everybody's so used to the kind of format or whatever.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
I always worry that one of these days I'm going to get somebody on and then I'm just going to hit record and it's going to be the worst, most boring episode ever.
Mine. No, I'm totally kidding.
No. Oh my God. That's cool.
No, but just to kind of go back to the whole interviewing other podcasters, I think for me, from my experience, that's been the most rewarding part about this whole thing because when I started out, I didn't really think I was going to be able to connect and have conversations with these people who I never would have had conversations with if I hadn't started. Like
Right.
it's so cool and just to hear everyone's perspective and their life story and their life experiences, it's
Mhm.
so cool.
Yeah, very much. Yeah, I feel like I've bonded with a lot of people and I've gotten into certain things, I guess, through doing this. And I don't know, it's just been interesting. Like
Yeah.
it is this like community. I mean, there's so many fucking podcasts, but I feel
Oh
like
yeah.
I just dipped into like the queer horror mostly.
Yes. It's just it's I don't know, I really can't explain it, but I don't there's just something that's always seemed queer about horror to me. Like it's
Oh
just
yeah.
yeah, I can't explain it. But I feel like so many of us are just so drawn to it.
Yeah, well, I think I talked about this with the scared gay guys. What I've noticed is it started when I was thinking about Disney villains, and I'm like, wow, all of them are kind of gay. And then I thought about it,
Yeah.
and I was like, well, not just Disney, but just villains in general, and then
Yeah.
horror. And it's that whole like, the werewolf is this whole he can't be his true self and it can only be it,
Mhm.
when the moon's out and he has to hide
Mhm.
himself during the waking day and he's really something else and like Frankenstein, this man obsessed with creating this perfect man for himself.
Mhm.
So it's all very queer, but it's all like built to scare people. Talk about
Yeah.
scared straight. Because it's weird because I've noticed like the older I get and the more I think about things, like everybody talks about being groomed and the gay agenda and all that bullshit, but it's like I
Mhm.
was groomed to be a heterosexual.
Yeah. A lot of us
So
were.
yeah. Did you grow up religious?
I grew up I was raised by my grandparents and they were hardcore Catholic. Like my
Oh
grandma
my.
had the whole shrine in her hallway and would pray to it and all of that. And I'm no disrespect to people who do that, but
Yeah.
I don't know, there was just again, no disrespect, but there was just something about all of that that it just it felt off to me and it would kind of give me this unsettling feeling.
Yeah.
Um, and that's probably why, like, as I grew up, I found myself attracted and mesmerized by artists who would incorporate blasphemy and,
Yeah.
just, like, satanic symbolism in their art.
Hmm.
Um, but I don't know, I mean, to each their own, but I don't know, I was always raised around, like, a lot of really bigoted opinions and, you think this way and only this way. If you don't
Yeah.
think this way, then you're gonna go here. Just
Right.
all of that. So, I mean, it was super religious, but then there was a point where I think I made it clear that I don't align with that.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean, like, now I can't even say that I have a religion or I think I'm just kinda going through life, uh, spiritual, but I mean,
Yeah.
I don't have like a quote unquote like religion or like a church to go to. I'm just living the life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always feel weird when I go into churches, even if they're the churches that are like, everybody's welcome. I'm like,
Yeah.
but you still read the Bible and it's got all these. Okay. Um, yeah, I don't know. But I mean, I was raised Baptist. And so
Yeah.
it's weird. It's just weird I've always said I don't have a problem with God. I have a problem with God's followers.
Mhm.
And I am more spiritual than anything.
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily refer to it as just like God, but it's like God, energy, the light, what have you.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't know, but it definitely, the only good thing about it is it gave me a foundation
Yeah.
and certain principles and like right and wrong and basic things. But
Exactly.
then it went off the rails.
Yeah. Yes, a
Uh,
lot of hypocrisy and
yeah,
just it's there's it, yeah. And then again, I'm just like, okay, so then which one is the right one? Like which book do I look to? Like which one
right.
is the right way? Like who do I listen to?
Yeah,
It's just gone so like muddy and hypocritical and yeah.
yeah. I don't know who said it originally, but the quote "All paths lead to God." It's always struck me.
Yeah.
Like, I kind of feel that there was one true thought originally, and I think that there's so many similarities, and we're all so different, but we're all the same. And I think
Mhm.
that people strive to almost separate themselves, and it's like, okay, this person, I don't like that about them, so I'm going to go over here and do my own thing. And then it just spawned all these different sects and offshoots, and then it's like religious telephone.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yes. That's
I
a great
kind of
way to
love
put
that.
it.
I've never said it that way, but yeah, that's what it is, because it's like the truth gets so convoluted.
Mhm. And then people put their own, like,
Yeah,
versions of it out there, and yeah,
yeah.
it's too much.
Yeah, it's a lot, and it's funny because I was always like growing up, I did kind of envy Catholics. Not that
Yeah.
I'd like to be one, but no, I just thought it was really pretty, and I always thought that it was cool that you guys got to go to confession, and then
Oh my
everything was
god.
fine. And I was like, we just had to live with the guilt. It's like, you're going to hell,
Yeah.
that's it. Okay, you have to,
Yeah.
and you just have to keep rededicating yourself to Christ every friggin' chance you get.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, I didn't do any of that because again, I was just like I've always felt afraid of it, so I think whenever I was put in that position to, like, go and I think do, like, the communion and all of
Hmm.
that stuff, I would just start crying hysterically, and I got out of it. So because it was just I don't know, it's just always been so frightening to me.
Yeah.
It's so weird. I yeah.
Oh, that's another thing that I liked though was communion. You guys had wine. We had grape juice.
Oh my gosh.
So I was like, they get to drink real wine.
Yeah.
I
And
don't
then,
know.
like, that little cracker thing. See,
Yeah,
I don't even know the proper terms for these things. I just call it, like, a piece of bread or a cracker or something.
it's
I don't
like a wafer or something. It always was weird to me that it
know.
was, the blood and the body of Christ.
Yeah.
There was
And
something so
then
like cannibal about it, but something so like sexual at the same time.
and then sharing the from the same glass as the
I know.
yeah.
I wonder how many cases of mono happened because of that.
Yes. Yes. And this was before COVID too, where I was just, like, not for,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
sharing. But yeah.
Uh, yeah, yeah, it's bizarre. I don't know. Yeah, at a certain point, I just kind of weaned myself away. I think I went to Christian camp. I went to Christian school, everything Christian. Um, and I think that my last camp visit really just soured me on all of it. Like, I tried. There were moments when I was like, all right, God, if this is truly a sin and I'm truly, awful, and, it's like, give me a sign,
Yeah.
and nothing.
Yeah.
But at camp, one of the counselors who had a crush on found out about me, and he did the whole laying hands on me and tried to pray the gay away. And then all these campers saw what he was doing, and they all
Oh
like
my
crowded
gosh.
around, and it was so fucking embarrassing. And I was like, never again.
That's traumatizing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Yay. And there's the trauma part of Trauma Dawn.
There you go. Did anyone, like, stand up for you or, like, whatever
No,
happened about that? Or
um,
obviously they were for him, quote unquote, "praying the gay away," or
yeah.
like
Yeah, they were all for him. I think I just went back to my cabin and
Oh
like
my God.
I wrote in my journal, and I wish I still had that entry because it was so angry. But I don't know. I that was the moment I knew I was done because I was like, this is bullshit. Like, and I kept trying to like give in and do what I was supposed to, and but at a certain point, you just have to be yourself, and
Yeah.
uh, you can't be brainwashed.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, growing up was fun. I
Oh my
almost went to
gosh.
conversion therapy too.
Oh my goodness. How
I
how
know.
did that come about?
I came home from school and there were a bunch of pamphlets in front of my door that my mother had left for me, and I don't know how or why, but I just grabbed them and went in a room and threw them at her. I was like, "No, you won't have a son. This is not happening." I think she just was very confused and didn't really know what to do. And some of the people in the church advised that this was the best way to handle it
Hmm.
because apparently
Wow.
they went to other deviants and told their parents this was what they should do.
Wow. See, it's hearing experiences like that I mean, my grandparents raised me until a certain age, and then, um, because my dad was always too busy working, and then when I did start seeing a lot more of my dad, and even my mom came back into my life, who is a lesbian, um, I don't know, I like, just hearing experiences like that just makes me, like, so grateful and for my experience, but at the same time, it also just it I don't know, that's why I think it's so important that everyone has a chance to share their story and,
Hmm.
for people like me to, like, empathize with them
Yeah,
and help share their stories because it's a really, pardon my language, but fucked up world out there, and, like,
yeah,
just some of these people who are just quote unquote "good," they're the most evil people out there, like, putting their hands on you to pray the gay away, and yeah, that just makes
yeah.
me so angry, like, that's so awful.
Yeah, I think it was because I trusted one of the my friends at camp and told them, and then they told him, and it was just it was a mess. But I don't know. It's something that I always knew. Like I knew when I was like 6, and I had always wrestled with it, and always just tried to you know, I guess I was trying to pray the gay way myself. Like I
Yeah,
was like, if this is the thing, show me. But
yeah,
I don't know. I mean, like I said, it definitely gave me some structure and some principles, but
mhm,
it is hard. It is hard just even thinking about church, and even when I step into a church, I feel so uncomfortable, like my skin is on fire.
yeah.
Um, I don't know, but yeah,
Yeah,
so it's
I've
okay.
yeah, there's been some, experiences lately because I do have friends who believe in certain religions and they've had certain events like weddings and baptisms that I've been invited to, and I mean I do show my support for them, but the whole time I'm in there clenching my pearls because I'm just like, oh my God, I'm so uncomfortable, but I'm that good friend who's supportive. I mean, because they are also so supportive of me, and I just think I should reciprocate that, but yeah,
Right.
it's really uncomfortable,
Yeah.
feeling to be in some churches. They have
Hmm.
beautiful artwork, though, I do have to give them
Oh
that.
yeah.
It's so
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. So, what area are you from?
I am from Central Valley, California, that is, in between LA and San Francisco.
Oh yeah.
It's the valley, so yeah, it's pretty hot here where I live. Not right now,
Yeah.
but I mean, it can get up there.
Yeah. I'm from California originally, but I'm from like 45 minutes out east of San Francisco.
Okay.
So like towards kind of near Stockton.
Yeah.
Yeah, I moved out of there at like 23, 24, somewhere around there.
Mhm.
So it's weird to think that I've been in Atlanta for 20 years.
How was the whole like change for you?
It was awful at first because when I
Yeah.
moved here, I moved to Chattanooga in Tennessee. And it was culture shock.
Yeah.
I didn't know anyone. I moved out here for my ex, and so it was just weird. So like for a while, I was just kind of a hermit because like he went to go to Florida to stay with his grandmother for like a couple of months, and I knew no one, and so I just stayed in my apartment and just was yeah. it was
Wow.
it was sad, but then he moved to Atlanta. Red flag number, I don't know how many. I just took all the red flags and wore them as a scarf.
Yeah. You live and learn.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I moved out here for you, and oh, wait, you're moving? Oh, okay,
Oh
I
my
guess I'll move
gosh.
too. Yeah, I don't
But
know,
I'm
but
sure now like you've found a community and
oh yeah, I mean, it took a minute.
yeah.
I got a lot of good friends and a good job, and every time that I think of leaving, something keeps me here. Like some, usually it's a job. Um, Pre-pandemic times, I worked at a doggy daycare for 13 years.
Oh, awesome.
And then pandemic happened, and then I worked at Spirit Halloween for a bit. And then I got the job working with Marvel, and everything kind of changed. And then the
Yeah.
strike happened, and then I went back to Spirit Halloween. So,
Yeah.
and now I'm just, I've been doing a lot of pet sitting.
Wow. Okay, I don't care what anyone says, but
Hmm.
Spirit Halloween for me is like a dream come true.
Um,
It just seems is it like fun? Like how is it working there?
no. Okay, well, all 3 years I did it, I was store manager, so that was a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Um, and I don't think I'm going to do it again because I think, well, I mean, because they give managers bonuses at the end, and it was way less than it was in 2021. And a
Mhm.
lot of my assistant managers were promised bonuses, and they didn't get them. And like
Oh,
our store made over 1 million, and then they didn't give everybody a full bonus, and the ones who did, it was kind of shady. So
that is
I don't know.
shady.
I don't know if I would do that again. Probably not.
Dream crushed.
I'm
I'm just
sorry.
kidding. I'm just
It
kidding.
might be different for you. I don't know. But I mean, definitely being a store manager, that was a lot and it was very stressful. And
Oh, yeah.
I don't like to be that in that position because you feel like you're on an island by yourself. And
Yes.
it's just very sad.
I have PTSD.
Yeah.
I was a training store manager for, oh my god. I worked for a pretty popular beverage company that I will not speak of.
Oh my God.
Um, and I think it was over like 11 years. And I became a store manager and then I became a training store manager. And I don't know, it just like the fact that I allowed myself to just put up with that much, like, I don't know, like, I would say trauma,
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
so long,
Hmm.
it's beyond me. It was just I mean, you have the experience too, like, it's just, like, you're never off, like, you're always working, people are
Yeah.
always bugging you, they're always calling you. Then
Yeah.
when you're close to a meltdown, like, no one gets why you're, like, having this
Yeah.
meltdown, and it's just
Oh
like,
yeah.
I have to do this while doing that and doing this while getting paid this, like,
Yeah.
what? Yeah, and then it came to the point where just one day I think the pandemic also had a huge toll on me,
Hmm.
um, just being forced to, like, work when nobody knew what was going on, we were being told so many different things, there were so many people being awful to each other, awful to, like, workers, frontline workers, and just everyone, retail workers,
Hmm.
and I don't know, I think that just, like, really, really, really just drained everything out of me, and then I went one day saying, "If I take my keys off of my keychain, then I'm done. And after
Yeah.
that shift, I took the key off my keychain. I was like, I guess I'm doing this. And I wrote an email and said, I'm not coming back. And
Mm,
I mean, it was really scary, but
yeah.
I mean, uh, it's definitely helped me just kind of stick up for what's right and be my biggest advocate because I mean, these places will work someone and then
Hmm.
once they're done with you, they'll replace you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah. So yeah, I got kind of triggered when you mentioned the whole store manager talk. I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh gosh."
So was this like a smoothie place?
It was. It
Okay. I
was.
think I know. I think I can
Probably
figure out.
the most popular one that you can think of.
Oh, well, I
Yeah.
don't, the one I'm thinking of, I don't know if it exists anymore.
It's one
Orange,
that's oh
Orange Julius doesn't exist anymore, does it?
oh no no no. It's the one that kind of came up
Jamba
after.
Juice?
Maybe.
It's fine. Yeah. Well, I mean, and it's different. It's not. How do I put it in a polite way? I guess I really can't. I mean, being in that position, it's stressful, and it's like I would bitch to my boss, and then people that were my assistant managers, and they wouldn't understand. And everybody's like, "Well, why are you so stressed?" I'm like, "Because everything goes downhill, and everyone underneath me is just having a good time, and here I
Mhm.
am breaking my back, and actually, I have injuries from this damn store
Yeah.
because it's physical,
Yeah.
but it's just there's so much pressure and it's coming from both directions, and then you're pressured to make your sales and do this, and it just it was, and the fact that like I got graded so weirdly at the
Mhm.
end. They're like, oh, your head count. I'm like, well, I couldn't hire people to save my life, because they'd get
Yeah.
in there and they'd find out how much it was and they'd be like, no. So
Yes.
yeah,
Exactly.
so it's like I had a hard time, and they were like, "Oh, well, you didn't have enough people," and I said, "Well, because they want to have more people, less hours, instead of less people, more hours."
Mhm.
So they're like, "Well, people are happier if they're working, not working as much." I'm like, "People are also poor if they're not working as much."
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know. I've just never understood why the minimum wage is still pitiful, and I've seen a map of the United States and how like it breaks down each state and how much you have to make in order to survive.
Yeah.
And it's ridiculous. And it's like it's not livable. And I've had so many arguments with people. They're like, oh, after the pandemic, people just don't want to work anymore. I'm like, people are tired of getting paid shit,
That's
and
really what it is.
they're standing up more, and they're actually looking for things that are where they can be valued and actually live on.
Mhm. And it's so sad, like, it honestly got to the point where when I would try to hire people, I almost felt like I was speed dating because I would have to pretty much, like, convince them, like, why they should come and work
Yeah,
for me, and then
yeah,
as soon as I would bring up pay, they would be like either they would accept it then and there, and then they would, like, send
yes.
me a text or email saying, like, I went with a different
Yeah,
opportunity or something. It just I don't know, and then I kinda got, like, down on myself because I was like, "Why am I being, like, rejected? Like, is it me?" And obviously, no, but I don't know, it just these big companies need to figure it out. Like, it is so just beyond ridiculous
yeah.
of how they treat their people. Everyone thought they were gonna come listen to us talk about horror. Well, we're talking about the real horrors of life right now.
That is horror. Well, speaking of horror, good segue. What is your favorite horror movie?
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna be so basic. I am just I don't know, Scream Scream, but it's just there's just always been this attraction to that
Yeah,
franchise.
yeah.
I think because that was probably, like, my segue into the genre.
Yeah.
I mean, my cousins and family would always put on like Child's Play or Freddy, and I would just be so scared of it. And then one day at a family barbecue, they put on this movie called Scream, and they were like, "You might want to go into another room." And I was like, "No, I'll watch it." And then I watched it, and I was just like in love. Like it was kind of funny, but then it was scary and it was bloody, and I
Yeah.
was hooked.
It's so
Yeah.
funny because I didn't realize it, but that movie came out my senior year.
Oh, of high school?
Uh-huh. I was
I
like, it came
was
out 96, holy shit.
I was 6, yeah.
Oh
I
my
was
God.
6, yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Good
Yeah, no,
times.
I do love Scream. My favorite Scream movie is the most unpopular
Which one?
3.
3, you like 3.
I love 3. It's so campy and it's
Yeah.
got, Parker Posey. You can't go wrong with her.
You know, I've come to appreciate that film more now, because I get it more now. But
Yeah.
no, yeah, like that character, Jennifer Jolie, is just probably one of the most well-written characters in the whole franchise. Like she just she brings so much to it. I'm so sad that she got killed off. I would love
Well,
to
I'm
see where
hoping
she's
that
at now.
I always thought that they would find a way to bring her back, but of course now Scream. I don't know what Scream is. Yeah, I think they need to just give it up.
That what's going on right now is not Scream. That's it. That is
Well,
not
yeah,
Scream.
I
That
know.
is it's a mess.
Yeah,
It
because
is
I
a
heard that
mess.
that all these people dropped out and now they're gonna try and like reboot it or something. I'm like, no, no, no,
Yeah,
no.
even the director quit, and it's like, come on, like Spyglass, Paramount,
Yeah,
just let the franchise rest for a little bit, maybe sell it to someone else. Like, come on,
yeah.
like, because even as a diehard fan, like, I don't even want this film to be made. There's yeah, there's so much more to it. Uh, yeah, it's just I don't want to get too political, but yeah, it's yeah, they need to stop mixing politics and it getting into the horror genre and just let people speak on what they want to speak on.
Yeah. Well, and it's not like she was saying anything
She wasn't even
horrible.
saying anything awful. Yeah, like I stand with her 110%. Like she did nothing wrong. She's just
Yeah.
using her platform for what she believes is
Right.
right. And
Right.
uh, it's such a mess. And then the fact that they try to reach back out to her
Yeah.
and be like, "Okay, come back, but under all of these rules and regulations." Like,
Right.
no,
Right.
piss off.
Yeah. It's I don't know, and it is weird because like with this whole situation, I'm normally very, very vocal, like extremely, but
Yeah.
I've just been more quiet about it because I don't know some days what to say, what to feel, who I can talk to.
Mhm.
So it's just like because I had a friend and everything I'd post, it would be like, oh, that's this wrong information and this is that and da 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 and I'm just like, I couldn't win. And it's like, okay,
Yeah.
well, I don't understand what I'm posting, you know. I just kind of stopped doing that because I'm like, I got tired of hearing it. But
Yeah.
I'm pro peace. I'm against war, and I hate most people, but I don't want to see anybody
Same.
suffer. And
Yeah.
nobody should suffer for religion. Nobody should be persecuted, and nobody should be pushed out of their homes. And genocide is not cool, and
Yeah.
war, killing people is not cool. So I don't know. But it's weird, and I've asked so many people that from different walks of life about their whole opinion, and it's a very hot button topic.
Yeah. I actually just talked about this. Oh, it's just I think it's so hard for people with different outlooks and opinions and all of that to find a middle ground. And I think social media kind of plays a big part in all of that. I
Oh
think
yeah,
it could be one of the most toxic places out there. And I mean, like you just said, like you don't even know what to say because every time you would say something, you would just be
yeah,
attacked or something. Or
yeah,
and I think I've seen a lot of that lately, especially from people who are big advocates of mental health and all of this, but at the same time, when they see people who aren't posting what they want them to post, then they kind of just uh, attack them and blast them, and I'm like, "You're for mental health, but here you are messing with someone's mental health." And I think everyone has the right to post, like, what they want and what they don't want, because at the end of the day, like, these are really, really, really heavy topics that, yes, if you are in the right state of mind and you have the platform, please, like, share this information, educate us, but you can't expect everyone to do the same thing because we don't know what everyone's going through in their daily lives, like,
Right.
it's so heavy, and I don't know. I wish we could all go about things a little differently and try and be more understanding and give grace and be more kind, but I guess I'm asking for a lot. But no, it's just a really scary time, and social
Yeah.
media is definitely,
Oh yeah.
not a good place when
Well,
these types of topics come up.
it's the thing is that I realize it's not social though. I mean, in some ways, I think you have to break the barrier though, and I think that the podcast has helped because I've gotten to know so many people, but it's like it's not. I think it drives the internet and social media and whatnot just drives people apart, and
Yeah.
also it's like a fabrication. I've said it before. I love watching people take selfies because they get all like, when the camera's on, they're all smiley and happy and doing this pose and whatever. And then as soon as they take it away, they're like morose. And I'm like, okay, it's
Mhm.
just fascinating that it's all, I guess, pretend. I mean, and everybody's guilty of it,
It's
filters
fun,
and
yeah, no, for
it's
sure. I mean,
fun.
I can admit right now that I look nothing like I do online. I'm just
Um,
kidding.
you're like, I'm really 60. No.
Yes.
No, it's just I don't know. It's getting through the bullshit, I guess, and
Yeah.
like I've been able to find a lot of people who are real and can be real, and that's the refreshing part. I feel like I hate everybody until they prove me otherwise.
Yeah. Yeah.
No,
No,
I'm just
same, same, like, yeah. Um, I used to be a lot more aggressive and, like, very, like, because I'm still, like, a no bullshit kinda person, but I've kind of just learn to take other people into account and just kind of just be like, "Okay, well, I might not like them now, but you don't know what they're going through," and
right.
all that. So I'll give grace, but at the same time, like, if I'm just, like, not vibing with someone or yeah, then I'll just be like, "Okay, like, good. I'm good off that." So yeah, it's been a journey without
Yeah.
all of that.
So, what sign are you?
I'm a Leo.
Uh-oh.
The
No,
most
Leo's
hate
good.
the most hated sign.
No, that's Gemini.
Oh, yeah, but, like, Leo and Gemini, I hear the most crap talked about them,
No,
like, all
I
the time.
love Leo. My queen is a Leo, so
Yes, she is, she
yeah.
is.
No, and my sister's a Leo, and I don't have an issue with that sign at all. There are not too many signs that I have issues with. My friend Andy did tell me the other day that apparently the horoscopes changed a while ago, and I still don't believe it. Um,
Change to what?
well, he said it's like basically like it's outdated, and so it would be like I'm an Aquarius, but it would make me like a Capricorn now, and I still don't feel that's accurate, but
What?
it's weird. It just made my head explode. I'm like, I don't believe it.
Does that have something to do with, like, when people are like, "Your moon is in this and your sun"
No,
No, that's different? Okay.
that
I'm
is,
not too good on that, all of
oh
that.
no, it's fine. It's just basically that whole thing was like it just it's such an antiquated when they came up with that whole system, and then I guess the way the Earth moves and yada 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 and the solar system, and it like rearranged everything. I'm like, I don't believe it. Because I remember at one point they were trying to say that there was a 13th sign. I'm like, come on.
What?
It's like if it's on the internet, it must be true, right?
Right. Oh my God. Of course.
I don't know. Um, yeah, I'm still an Aquarian always.
Yeah, I take pride in being a Leo, and I still have a lot of characteristics of Leo, so I don't
Yeah,
think they've changed.
yeah.
Yeah.
So are you single? Are you dating, or what's the haps with that?
I am I am happy right now. No, I've always, told myself that, if I were to ever, pursue this type of work, like content creation and all of that, I would most definitely keep all of that private.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm doing okay.
Oh
If
my
that's a
God.
good enough answer.
I suppose. Wow. No,
Yeah.
it's just interesting to me because like I've had a lot of conversations with, especially being gay and
Mhm.
dating and this world we live in, and it's fascinating to me. I was talking to my friend earlier about it, just like he's been with somebody for so long, and I showed him all the apps and everything, and he's like, "Oh wait, they're right here." I'm like yeah, it says they're however many feet away, and blah blah blah. And so he was just like living vicariously.
Yeah. I'll give you this much. I I'm like your friend. I don't know that world.
Okay, well that's I mean
Um,
that's good muscle.
it's I don't know. It's really scary to me, like all of that, like
Yeah.
the dating apps, and I think that can really like I already ha okay, so I've always had like really low self-esteem. I think that probably stems from being a larger child.
Hmm.
Um, so I mean, I have never been able to really shake that
Yeah.
insecurity. So I don't know. I don't think going on for me, I'm not bashing if you're for it. If you love it, go off, do your thing. But I don't know. I don't know. I think that would kind of make me more insecure. And then I don't know. I feel like I've seen from Twitter, or is it X now? Um, when guys post their like screenshots of like what people message them on
Yeah.
Grinder and stuff,
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh my gosh, you like people are really like saying this to each other on there.
Hmm.
Like it's
Yeah.
wild. It's wild.
Well, and it's so weird because all the things that people say on their profiles, like I was laughing about it because one of them, some of them say like they're networking. I'm like, you're
What?
not networking, not on here.
Aren't they like mainly created to like to hook up?
Well, yeah, like Grinder and Scruff and all that, but then they're all just like, no fats, no femmes, no this, no
Oh, that
that.
is so
They want.
awful. That's so ugly. No, yeah.
And I finally put on my profile. I said, you know what? I'm not femme. I'm not mask. I'm just me. And
Yeah.
don't be a dick. And I just like they asked for a picture. I'll send them a picture, and then they're just like silent. I'm like, okay, well, and they're like, oh, and I don't know. It's just weird. It's like I know that I'm not. Uh, I don't know. I guess everybody has their ideal or whatever.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
and it's just I think that uniqueness and individuality is kind of frowned upon sometimes in the community because I think
Yeah.
that it can be very cookie cutter.
Oh, yeah.
And so that's why I feel like I found a home with the queer horror folk.
Yeah, we're a awesome community.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Now if I can just
which is great too, 'cause, I think that's the other reason why I've, like, really, like, loved the whole, like, podcasting and the community aspect of it because, um, in my personal life, my daily life, I have very few, close friends from the community,
yeah,
and I think that stems from just, in my teens and, like, early 20s, I've just seen and experienced a lot of, like, either side eye or just false narratives and judgments, and I'm just like, "What is going on?" Like, we're supposed to be this community, and it doesn't even feel like a community. It's just everyone judging each other and not being very nice to one another. Um, so yeah, I think that's definitely like kind of changed my perspective with the whole like queer horror community because it's been so awesome.
Yeah. Now, if I could just find me like a tatted horror daddy, I'll be good.
You'll be good.
Yeah.
You'll be
I
set.
know. It's funny because it's like there's so many like I don't know how if it's I was talking to my friend earlier about like, dating in Atlanta, and I'm like, I don't know, maybe it's just the city, I don't know. But, I guess it's probably the same everywhere
It's
else.
everywhere.
But then I meet so many people online and so many guys, and I'm like, damn it. I'm like, why do you live there?
You're
I
so far.
I know. I feel like I'd flourish in New York, but I couldn't afford it. So,
Oh gosh, yes, it's so expensive there.
no.
Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, even California's getting pretty bad.
Oh yeah, no, I know. Um, I don't know. It's just so it's that grass is greener sort of
Oh
situation.
yeah.
It's just what you make it. But it is weird dating. It is weird dating in the community and the dating apps and whatnot. And then dating in your 40s is not cute at all whatsoever.
Yeah.
I
No,
don't
I don't.
recommend it.
Why not?
Um, well, I feel like the older you get, the more baggage you come with, and I think it's more a matter of like finding people who have like a matching set of luggage, I suppose.
Yeah.
But it's hard to weed it out, and then it's kind of exhausting. Like I get tired of like meeting new guys and
Yeah.
what are you interested in? What are your hobbies? And all the questionnaire, and I'm like, okay. And then
You're
it
like
just
you're
does,
over it.
uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just like, now it almost feels like I go out on a date and I'm like, are we gonna do this or not?
Cut the bullshit. Literally, cut the bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah, and then you meet like I met somebody that I thought was sort of a potential for something. And of course, I waited, I abstained and did not sleep with him yet. And then of course, after I slept with him, the communication just went less and less and less. I'm like,
Oh
go
gosh.
figure. Because I
Yeah.
actually waited a month and a half, and normally, like, I'm a first date kind of gal,
Yeah.
but and I went
So,
against type too.
what was that?
I said I went against type. He wasn't really my type. He was a little too nerdy for me.
Oh.
Yeah. He played
Yeah.
Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh my God. I've never understood that game. I've like shown interest in it, but I was like, I can't. I can't
Yeah.
do this. It's too much for my little brain. Yeah. So if you're listening to this out there, just know that stop with the bullshit.
Yeah.
Be
There's too much
upfront.
of it. Yeah.
There's too much going on for bullshit, extra bullshit.
Yeah. I think that's why too, like I get more um I guess creative and in profiles I say more. So I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, well, let me put this out front. And also like, I was writing a book during the pandemic, and that was the big joke. Like I was just gonna go on a date with some guy and hand it to them and be like, here's the about me section. But now it's morphed kind of into this podcast
Yeah.
because it's like grown legs, and now I feel like I'm talking about all these things that are in the book and about life. And I mean, not all of it, of course, because there's certain things that like ooh certain things I probably won't be able to talk about for a while, but
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
between me and my therapist.
Yeah. No, I yeah,
uh,
that's the other like beautiful thing about podcasting is just like people can share their life stories in real time
yeah,
essentially.
yeah,
It's so
yeah,
cool.
it's funny because it's like after so many episodes, it took a long time to be comfortable listening to my own voice.
Yeah.
But I think I am now. I'm so used to it. And uh, it is weird though, because when I talk day to day to people, like I know it's almost like I think about how I'm sounding when I'm talking.
Yeah.
like certain words and things, and just noises or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that I used to feel the exact same way until I started getting feedback being like, "Oh my God, like you have such a calming voice." So then I was like, how can I like play off of this?" And I cashed in, and then
Yeah.
I started deepening it, and then I like read like my cases really slow, and I have a voice like this, and just kind of make it deeper, and yeah, and I mean, I've even been told like it's like sort of like an ASMR, like a horror ASMR
Yeah.
with like jump scares, and I was like, okay.
That's
So
cool.
yeah, see, podcasting can help a lot. I mean, it's helped me feel more comfortable with my voice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I had somebody say that my voice was calming too, and then I had somebody tell me, I think yesterday, that I was magnetic, and I was like, "Wow, that's a compliment right there."
that's awesome.
I don't know, like I've, and it's just wild because I've connected with so many people, and I have a lot of friends that actually will. I get messages afterwards, like after they listen to the episode, they're like, "Oh my God," I'm like, "I'm listening to it now," and holy crap, and they'll just like their thoughts, and so like I feel like um it was the right decision. And
Yeah.
it's when it stops being fun, that's when it's
Oh
time
yeah.
to, because I don't even know, like I don't monetize it. I don't know when one would monetize. I don't know. It's just like I don't think about that. When it becomes pressure and becomes like a job, then I don't think so. I don't think I'll do it. But who
Yeah.
knows?
You
But
never
now
know.
but it's interesting because it's just a um like a marker or something of my life and what's going on and everything. And um I don't know. Part of me feels like I wish I would have started this during the pandemic, but I guess I
Yeah.
needed to be by myself with my computer and a bottle of wine or two.
Yeah. No, yeah, that's so interesting because I've thought this too, like, I mean, I'm not trying to get morbid or anything, but long, long, long from now when, I mean, we're no longer here. I mean, we've left this.
Yeah.
Like, we've left these stories, these experiences, these
Hmm.
conversations. Like, we've left that for other people to come and find, and if they
Yeah.
can take something from it, then great, you
Yeah.
know?
It's like an
It's so
audio
cool.
time capsule.
Literally, yeah.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
And it is why, like I've always said, like I feel like my duty as a human being is, if I have something to say and if I can inspire people, then because I don't feel like we're just on this earth just to wander about and do nothing.
Yeah.
There's more to it than that. And so um, that's why I think I started writing originally. And first I was like, oh, who's going to want to read this? Who gives a shit? But
Yeah.
then I was like, there are people like me when I was a kid, and there are people who are going through a lot of the things that I went through. Uh,
Mhm.
and if I can help somebody, I don't know. It's weird to think about the shit you go through and like the fact that you're still standing.
Yeah. If you don't mind me asking, when you would write, was it like your autobiographical experience or was
Yes.
it like a story inspired? Oh, so it was okay, so it was
Yeah, no, I wrote
autobiographical.
my autobiography, and did that for about 3 years, and it's like, I don't know, it's like 300 pages. And it's weird because with that, I don't know when to stop.
Yeah.
And after a while, it felt like a chore.
Oh, and that's when you don't
Yeah.
wanna, yeah.
And and I felt like I was trying to go back and edit. And then, of course, when you go back and you're going through all these like painful things, it's like that's like reliving them.
Yeah, it's reopening those wounds.
Yeah. And at some point, I was just like, fuck it, I'm gonna do a podcast. And this is just what this is turning into. And I may release the book someday or I may not.
Yeah.
So, but
Wow.
I don't know. Everybody's got it. That's what's interesting about podcasts, is everybody has a story to tell. Everyone's different. If you can't find one that you like, there is definitely one out there.
Yeah. There's
I'm
so
super,
many.
I'm super picky about podcasts.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. And for the longest time, I didn't even bother, but now it's different. I've gotten more into them.
Yeah. I
Um,
love, like, listening to other people's podcasts. I mean, because
yeah,
now, I mean, I do deliveries, so I'm always driving.
yeah.
So I just have like a list and I go through them and they can be about pretty much anything. I think the only like type that I don't really gravitate towards are like oh my god. They're like the I don't even know what they're called, but it's like this guy, he like talks to like a bunch of like random people on each episode. Like they can be OnlyFans workers or whatever, and he pretty much just like degrades them. um, I've been
Huh,
seeing that get really popular lately, and I'm like, "What is this?" So, not those types of podcasts, but, like, I do, like, comedy podcasts, other true crime, horror,
yeah.
yeah.
Have you listened to my podcast? You
I
can be honest.
I've listened to one, yes, yes, yes,
Which one
and
did you
yeah,
listen to?
I don't know. It was when was our first conversation?
Uh,
It was a
I don't,
while ago.
I don't know. Was it a male or female?
I think it was 2 males, obviously you
Oh,
and
that
one
was
other.
oh, like
But yeah,
oh,
I make lists on my Spotify and I just let them play.
okay. I'm just
Yeah.
curious. I actually so with the exception, I think most people I like to interview them first, like because I follow them and I'm aware and interested, but then I'm like, well, I think it would be more interesting to just go in blind.
Yeah.
So and then I wind up listening a lot afterwards. I think the exception was Ricky because I hadn't been doing my podcast before, so and but yeah, it's one of those. It's like I dive in after because I don't know. I just feel like I don't want to. I don't prepare with questions. I don't have like a format or anything. I
Yeah.
just people that I find fascinating, and I'm just like, okay, well, this let's do this.
Yeah.
So um,
Yeah. I'm complete opposite. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of, like, freaking out a little bit because I think it's a perfectionist in me,
yeah,
um, which is why I shelved, like, my entire first season because it wasn't, like, perfect. I'm
yeah,
so crazy. Um, but yeah, I usually have to have, like, bullet points and well, because I think because I'm such a scatterbrain too, like,
yeah,
I'm shocked I haven't gone off on, like, a bunch of different topics here, but usually I would, and then it makes the conversation messy because yeah, I'm
yeah.
just a crazy person. But,
No, you're not crazy.
so hopefully I've done well so far.
No,
But
you
yeah.
have. I mean, and I don't know. I think I've just loved talking and having conversations that I feel like I can somehow steer things. I mean, I'm not like, trying to make it go one way or the other, but it's like, there are times when you can
Natural
sense when you're like,
conversation. Yeah.
yeah. Um, but I do think it is kind of interesting because for the people who do podcasts, it's almost like a free for all when they come on this one because it's
Yeah.
like you don't have to worry about researching or bullet points or any of that
Oh,
shit. Just be
yeah.
you. And
Yeah.
that's the scariest thing of all.
Yeah. No,
It's
yeah, for sure.
but it's I mean, but it's almost like it's no pressure. It's just, I like to uplift people. I like to
Yeah.
promote them, or as I like to say, I like to whore them out. Uh, so, because I've had a
Period.
lot of people with really, a lot of important things and projects and podcasts um, and sometimes it's just for fun. Like I keep trying to get this guy on my show that's a stripper in LA. So,
But he keeps declining or
no,
what's up
no, he
with that?
wants to. It's just
Oh,
scheduling
cool. Oh,
conflicts.
scheduling, yes.
Because I
Yes.
really want to ask him about his name,
What's his name?
Jake the Snake.
Oh, I mean,
Yeah, no, I
we
know, but
know.
yeah, I know, but I'm just like,
That would be a really, like, interesting combo, actually. Like, we like, I'll help you get him on for you.
totally. Well, I
Where's
mean,
he at?
I think he's maybe West Hollywood or something, but yeah. No, he's cool. He's very nice. He's very apologetic about it because he's like, he probably sick of me because I keep rescheduling. I'm like, it's fine. It'll happen one of these days.
Yeah.
And then, there's this one like gay, like pop star sort of guy that I have talked to before. Like, he's not huge, but like he's getting bigger.
Yeah.
And I feel like we're talking less now. And he's like, oh, yeah, I'll be on it. And now it's like he's sort of blowing up a little bit. And I'm like,
Don't forget
hey,
about me.
yeah, like you said you would. I mean, it was even, we talked to him before there was a podcast, but, and he calls me hubby and it's cute. And I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
my. But, so I do have my dream list. I
Yeah.
even asked Madonna's makeup artist and he said he'd think about it, but I never got a response
Oh my gosh. I'm sure
back.
he's busy. Is he doing her makeup still now?
Excuse me. I don't know if he's doing it on this tour, but I know he's been attending a lot of the
Oh my
shows.
gosh.
He probably is. I mean, he's very, very sweet and he's probably insanely busy.
Yeah,
Just
for
the fact that
sure.
he even considered it and said he'd
That's
think about
awesome.
it was just like a feather in my cap.
Yeah.
Yeah, I ask celebrities all the time and they read them
Respond.
and they don't respond. Like, I
That's
just like,
literally
you
been
never
me.
fucking know.
I've been reaching out to Danielle Harris and Scout Taylor because they have
Oh,
a
yeah.
podcast, and they shared my like one of my posts one time where I was shouting them out, and
Nice.
now I just get left on red. I'm like, damn it, like come on my show or let me go on yours. Like let's talk. I have so much to say to you guys.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're probably sick of me too.
It's almost even worse, like, when I'd almost rather they not have seen it at all
Open
because,
it,
like, when
yeah.
when they read it, you're like, "Oh,
This fucking guy again. Like God, I'm shocked I'm
yeah."
not blocked.
Like, I asked, you've seen Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead, right?
Yeah.
So the brother in it, Keith Coogan, I asked him, dude, the dishes are done, man. Well, because he follows me on Instagram, and I'm like, okay, well, cool, and come do my
Yeah.
show. But I think sometimes the name trips people up, and I'm like, it's not about anything.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
that leads people to be like, oh, you're like, it's like the Seinfeld of the podcast. I'm like, no, it's
No.
not.
Oh my gosh. Wait, so
Yeah,
what I do have to ask. I mean,
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, it's not just about Queen, but
No, no, no,
I'm
no.
just curious.
It's just a kitschy, cute little name that
Yeah.
Ricky, because he's like, well, what do you want to talk about? I'm like, I love Madonna, I love Halloween. I wrote a book about my childhood trauma, and he's like, Trauma Madonna. I'm like,
Tro-
perfect, cut and print.
That's such a good name. That is such a good name.
It's fun. Yeah, I feel like I should be paying Ricky.
Maybe soon.
Yeah. Oh God,
But
we'll see.
what's your favorite era?
Um, I think the most well, and it's weird because it's like I feel like my favorite was like a chunk of time. Like, I really love her from like '89 to like 95 or so, maybe
Yeah.
94. Um, Like a Prayer is my favorite album.
Yeah.
Well, either no, 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 no. Ray of Light. It's like they're kind of neck and neck.
Oh,
I've loved her since day one. Like, I remember when Holiday first came out on the radio. I remember
yeah.
listening to that and dancing in my kitchen. I was not allowed to like her when I was a kid. My mom was like, "She's a tramp. She's a slut." I was like, "Okay,
Oh, yeah.
whatever." Madonna was my first introduction to the community. I didn't know anything about the gay world, and I saw Truth or Dare, and I was like, "Holy shit!" And I was like, "Okay." And she was the first person that was really out there saying that it was okay to be me, and I wasn't a freak. And I felt that there were a lot of times that she was there when no one else was,
Yeah.
even though I don't know her. I have met her though, just
Oh my
once.
God, that's awesome.
It was an MTV contest, that
Oh,
like
wow.
bullshit that doesn't happen to anybody. Like, every time I say it, I feel like I'm lying.
That's so awesome.
I don't know, but it's just my friend. Oh my god, I just blanked. Oh, I'm gonna I'm gonna I'm I'm tripping up now. Well, Wayne, it's Wayne. Yeah, Wayne. Who, Wayne, who does a podcast, and he was on my show, the Madonna Get Together podcast. Because we talked about the name and the podcast and everything, and he said it's not necessarily that it's about her, it's kind of your life, and it does affect you and things around you.
Yeah.
So I mean, and then sometimes people just bring her up, even if I don't. So
Like me right now.
yeah, well, yeah. I mean, I meant sure a little bit, but yeah, I mean, it's one of those things because it's like that's just such a staple of my life. So it's like, how could it not be discussed? And
Yeah.
what's your favorite era?
Uh, I would have to say Ray of Light as well. Um, and that's actually an album that I discovered like early 2000s where I was just like really sad and I was like, you know, I've never given this album a chance. Like let's listen to it fully. And it like the production and like the layers of every song and her vocals, it's such a beautiful album.
Hmm.
And I've just that album like just made me really appreciate her
Yeah.
and that she's not just this pop star that's just doing all these like big productions and has backup dancers. Like I was like, damn, like this she's she's an artist. She's oh there's just so much more to her music and I think she's so misunderstood.
Hmm.
Um and but yeah, no, definitely Ray of Light, like that. Oh, such a beautiful album.
Hmm.
But I mean, I think any Madonna song probably from the 90s. I didn't really grow up on her 80s stuff.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, and then obviously I can appreciate her like modern stuff, even though it's not hitting as well. Um, but yeah. I just don't like when people like start with the like she's in her 60s, she shouldn't be doing that,
Yeah.
and just like who are you to say what anyone should be doing at what age? Like she's doing the damn thing, she looks great, and
Hmm.
like just
I know. I get
let
so
her kill
tired
it.
when people have the audacity to be like, What'd you do to her face?" And I'm like, "You wouldn't ask that if she were a man."
Exactly.
It's just
Like
double
let her.
standard.
I think she looks good.
Yeah.
I love yeah, I love her so much. And I even have like a whole playlist where it's just nothing but like most of
Oh.
her like sad songs when I feel sad. I have to go to that. Um but yeah.
Yeah. I mean, music is important, and she's been important to me. But I think that losing my train of thought. That's what I think.
That's
No,
okay.
I feel like I am here because of music, and I cannot stress that enough. And Madonna's been a huge part of that. But also, I know a lot of other things through her. I know a lot of artists. I know like Joni Mitchell because of her, and like I know about Frida Kahlo and Keith Haring and
Yeah.
Jean-Michel Basquiat and um, James Baldwin and all these things. It's like, and I think it's cool that it's almost like she's a teacher. And I
Oh
think that
yeah.
my favorite thing is like learning about new things from the things that you already like.
Yeah.
Because I'm always obsessed with, especially new music. I'm always obsessed with finding new music, and um, I think it's such a universal thing. I think it just can be felt and understood regardless of language, and it just breaks all the barriers.
Yeah.
Um, makes people come together, right?
Exactly. Music heals the soul.
It does. It does.
It really does. Now let's shake things up again. So was Lady Gaga
Uh-oh.
copying her or not? No, I'm totally kidding. I'm totally kidding.
Was
Don't
what?
answer that. Was Lady Gaga copying her or not? I'm kidding though. I'm being a
That's not
troll now.
really a question.
I know, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Wait, where's my cup of tea? Look it up.
Reductive.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm kidding. No, we don't have to discuss that. I was just trying to be a
Oh
troll right
no,
now.
I know. I'm not really. I mean, I think everybody knows my opinion, but and I'm fine with Lady Gaga. She's fine. I don't stan her. I think she's very talented. I'd like her to come in her own because I still think she's trying to figure out who the hell she is.
Mhm. Yeah.
Um, I do think that her music has not been as good as it could be.
Yeah.
Like the last few albums, it was just kind of a jumble, and like I don't know. I just think it's not
She's a
as
soundtrack queen now. She's
yes,
doing nothing but soundtracks now, it seems.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, she got that Oscar, so
I know. I know.
I guess it worked.
Yeah.
I don't know, but yeah, she's fine.
I was totally kidding. We did not have to go over that. I was just being a troll.
Oh no, I know. Yeah. I mean, I've gotten better. I used to be very
Oh,
loud and
you were
opinionated.
anti-Gaga before?
Yeah, well, I mean, I still call her Lady Blah Blah sometimes.
Lady Baba.
But I don't know. Like it, much like God. I don't dislike God, but I dislike their followers. I don't necessarily, a lot of the little monsters are kind of crazy. I'm not gonna even. I mean, I don't know if they're still like that, but there was a time when it was like they would like, you know, although extreme fandom anyway,
Oh
regardless
yeah.
of who, is just like I don't
The
know. People get
Swifties
online.
and the
Yeah.
beehives, like I think those are the craziest ones right now.
Oh, yeah. The Mariah people used to be. I guess they're her lambs
Her
or whatever.
lambs, yeah.
Like I don't know. Yeah,
You know, I
everybody.
actually just went to a Mariah Carey show. My first ever. I'm not a big fan. I went for support,
Yeah.
and it was her Christmas show, and I was extremely surprised at how entertained I was because the music aside, she's actually kind of like a comedian. She's
Oh,
pretty funny. I was really like impressed with her jokes. I was like, wait, what? She's a comedian? But yeah, just a fun little fact there. But no,
yeah.
as a former little monster,
Oh,
because
yeah.
there was an era where I kind of flip-flopped on the Queen. I think it was
Yeah.
during MDNA. Uh,
Uh-huh.
and yeah, I was just a crazy yeah, like exactly what you said, a crazy little monster and who was
Mhm.
just being very protective over someone who I don't even know and
Yeah.
being really nasty and yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it was. I mean, yeah. It just that.
Wait, I'm doing what I told you. Like my mind is like going to all sorts of topics and I think
I
I'm just
know. I know. I was just thinking about Born This Way and that whole thing, but
oh, boy.
that's I know it is express yourself, but whatever. I mean, but so much music is so similar. Like I've listened to songs that are not even. I think sometimes things can be on purpose. Sometimes things can be subliminal. Um, I don't know. And my biggest problem, and I'm not even talking about necessarily her, but a lot of people who do like a little literal rip off of things and they don't even like credit or don't even say anything
Yeah.
because I've a lot of people have sampled things. I mean, Vanilla Ice, for instance, he sampled Queen and tried to say that it wasn't that.
Yeah.
It's like he's like, well, I've got this extra, and I'm like, no, no, honey.
Oh, I think I seen that interview where he's like, "No, mine goes," dun, 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 dun," and then he was like trying to like
Dun, dun,
explain,
dun.
like,
Yeah,
yeah, and I was like, "No, that's the same thing."
I know. It's
Yeah.
just I don't know. It's weird, and it's funny to look back and get older and look at those moments and go, Jesus Christ, we all fell for it. We all listened to it. And like
Yeah.
even Milli Vanilli, I remember when
Oh
they came out,
gosh.
and it was just like they were awesome. And then it was like, oh shit, they're
It
not
wasn't really
singing.
them. Yeah.
Yeah. And then that poor guy committed suicide.
Wait, one of them did?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The
Because
cute
of
one.
that?
Um, well, years later, but I think that had a lot to do with it
Oh,
because
wow.
that ruined their career and that ruined everything. Um, I don't know.
Wow.
I mean, it's sad because I feel like the industry and it's hard to get anywhere. It's hard to make any money, and it's just a lot of control with the labels and things. And I do think
Mhm.
that independent is definitely a way to go. But I think a lot of people in the '90s didn't know what they were signing. Like
Yeah.
MC Hammer went bankrupt, and TLC went bankrupt, and
Oh, yeah.
Tony Braxton, and just all these people that were just making money hand over fist. But like, at the end of the day, then they have to pay their managers and their lawyers and their all this, and then they just end up with nothing.
Yeah,
And
and then some of them weren't even seeing any of that money.
yeah, yeah.
It's nuts.
God bless the music industry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's sad because it's like it is when things become corporations and take over, and it's like it sometimes takes the heart out of it.
Yeah, it
Um,
it loses its original essence and
yeah,
it just sells out.
yeah, and that's why like I mean, I will say this about Madonna, and it's fine. I'm giant fan, but I can say bad things, and it's fine. Um, I feel like Hard Candy and MDNA were definitely she was really wanting a hit, and the formula was different, and I feel like it wasn't very genuine, and also she was going through a messy divorce,
Yeah.
and but my the first thing was that she worked with producers that were well known, which she never used to do that. She always used to
Yeah.
do and it just like she just wanted a hit and wanted number one album, and
She was just going with what was trendy at that time.
yes, and it did not feel genuine whatsoever.
Yeah. No, yeah, Hard Candy is probably my least favorite.
Same.
Um, it
It's
just
good. It's good for the gym though.
it's not I don't know, I could never get into it. It just sounds so dated.
Yeah,
And it's I think MDNA there's a couple songs on there that I can grab. Like I really love Masterpiece. That's such a good song.
yeah,
Um there's like one more, but yeah. Rebel Heart I think was a great comeback for like modern Madonna.
yeah.
Or no,
There was just too much on it though. I think they could have.
it was bloated. Yeah, it was a bloated album.
They could have, and also a lot of the demos were better than the what was on the album. But then they had the leak.
Okay, right?
Yeah, I know. Oh well.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah. I definitely. I love her, but I can say things like that. Because I'm not convoluted or anything.
Yeah.
I'm not one of those people. I'm
Yeah.
not a monster.
A little monster now.
No, fandom's wild though. It's really, I don't know. I think just when people get pitted against each other and it's like,
Oh yeah.
like what you like, it's cool. Who gives a shit?
Exactly. Just let people do what they want to do and like what they want to like and live how they want to live. Jeez.
Yeah, I know. And then if you don't like it, then go get a
It's not for
podcast
you.
and bitch
Yeah.
about it there.
Yeah.
Uh, well, I think it may be time to wrap it up
Okay.
because I it's funny because it's like I never know when to like end things, and then I wind up like going over 2 hours, and I'm like, holy shit, this is a long episode because I like to talk, and then the people feel comfortable and they want to talk too, and I'm like, well,
And then my brain is going all over the place, so I'm gonna start branching off into literally everything, and it's gonna be a really messy episode.
yeah, and we'll start talking about the theory of relativity and shit.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so so promote yourself, uh,
Okay. Uh,
pour
well,
yourself out.
well, you can catch the Scream Queer podcast every Tuesday. Episodes are available bright and early. Um, Yeah, you can follow me on Instagram. That's probably where I'm most active, at Scream Queer Podcast. I'm also on YouTube, TikTok, but I don't really post on there as much yet. But yeah, mainly just Instagram. And you can listen to me honestly anywhere. I'm not visual yet, so just not YouTube, but everywhere. Spotify, Apple, iHeart, wherever.
Oh, I
Yeah.
forgot about iHeartRadio. I'm not on there. I guess I should be, huh?
Yes.
I just forget. There are all these platforms. I don't know. I'm on four of them now. I don't know, maybe five.
It's
Audible, Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple, and
And although I have noticed that there are places that I didn't submit to that are getting my podcasts, and I'm getting
hmm,
emails from them. So I'm like, "Oh, well, this is cool." I mean,
oh
hopefully it's not anything shady, but I mean, it's on there with all my
yeah,
info. So I was like, "Okay, I'll take it."
yeah. And I'm glad that see, my brain, I know the name of your damn podcast, but I keep wanting to call it Scream Queen. And
Oh
I'm
my
like,
god.
well,
No, yeah, it's Scream Queer Podcast. Yeah, it's obviously a play on that though.
yeah, yeah, that's why I'm like this, but it
And
is
it's not just about Scream, everyone. I promise. It is not just about Scream. Although I have been covering all the messiness that's been happening, but it's not
yeah,
just about Scream. It's literally everything.
yeah. Well, Scream more so like the, like horror screaming,
Yeah.
scared.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. I mean, just like mine isn't just about Madonna or
Madonna.
trauma.
Exactly. You get it. See?
Yeah. Yeah. It's just a kitschy, cute little name to get people in the door. And then
Yeah.
you trap them.
Yep. So come listen to me complain every Tuesday. No, I'm just
Yay.
kidding.
Yeah.
It's
I
not
went
like that
to,
at all.
you do it every week?
I do. Yes. I'm on a little holiday break right now, but I'll be back
Okay.
January 2nd.
I used to do it. I was doing it every week until I think I got the last minute. Like it was because I had them go out on Fridays and on like Thursday night, somebody canceled and I was just tired and I was like, fuck it. I'm going bi-weekly. It may
Yeah.
change again. I don't know. But
Yeah.
it's a lot. It's just, I guess, especially when you're having guests on there and you're trying to match up your schedules.
Yeah. That's probably one of the most challenging parts.
Yeah.
Collabs.
So I keep trying to like record and just like stockpile so I can give myself a little bit of a break.
Yeah.
But oh, and you're actually going to be the first. You are the last recording of 2023, and you're going to be the first episode of 2024.
Oh my gosh. I'm
I'm wondering,
starting the
should
year off.
I'm wondering if it, since it's another year, if I should go into a new season.
That's I mean, there's no set rule. Like for
Yeah,
me, I barely started last year and I'm on season 3, but that's because I scrapped season 1 because it was trash. And
yeah,
then season 2 ended when I hit my 1 year mark.
yeah,
So I mean, I think it's usually like a year, but I mean, you can make it whatever you want.
yeah.
It's your
That's
show.
true. Yeah, I started in the beginning of August, so it's really, I mean, it's weird. It's fucking weird for me to think that I don't look at the analytics a lot, but there have been, I think, 400 listens since
Nice.
August. And I don't know what's good or bad, but it's like I'm honored that like there was one listen.
No, exactly, exactly. Like I try not to get too much into that. That's why when people were sharing their numbers and stuff, I was like, okay, like I don't want to focus on that because
Yeah,
I think again, that can mess with someone's head if they look too much into it.
yeah,
I'm grateful that I'm able to get like at least one listen.
yeah,
So,
exactly. Um, and yeah, it's just, I think that if you're striving for listens and everything, then you tend to like, you do things that are really out of your comfort zone, or you do, it's less authentic, I suppose. It's like when you
yeah.
start like having to like, you don't want to get gimmicky, you know.
Yeah.
But it's usually just word of mouth, and then I feel like I gain more listens too when I get, really awesome people on my show, and then
Yeah.
it's this big like it grows legs, and then it's not only like you know, it's like we're promoting each other, which is great. And
Yeah.
it's stuff that, we believe in, and it's not just, I don't know. It's important. It's good things.
Yes. That's why I'm so big on the whole community aspect of it because it's it's so nice to like know that you're just like lifting each other up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I
it's
mean,
so
I think
cool.
that's the main point. Is I just wanted to spotlight other people. It's not like I just want to sit and talk about me and how I'm just wonderful.
Hmm. Yeah.
I mean, because
Exactly.
originally I got the idea not just from Ricky, but I was listening to Julia Louis Dreyfus's podcast. It's called Wiser Than Me, and she would talk to mostly women who were older than her, but she would, you know, ask them lots of questions and gain wisdom through that. And I was like, wow, that's just so cool. And
That is really cool.
it was just, I don't know, I just listened to all her episodes and I was like, wow. I even contacted her and I was like, you want to be on? She
Hey, you never know.
I know, but I just told her how much she inspired me, and I've tried to like, get a bunch of people on there, but and I'll just like I'll send them the message and then I'll send them the link and be like, you never know.
Yeah.
So who knows? Maybe Madonna will be on it someday.
Oh my God, that'd be so awesome.
She won't, but it's fine. I don't know. I'm glad that I met her and I didn't really say much to her because I don't think I would be able to. I just kind of shook her hand and, I don't even think I said anything to her.
Oh my God, you're starstruck?
Well, no, it was a group of people and everybody was clamoring to like touch her and be near her and shake her hand and we took like a group picture and then she thanked us for coming and she said she hoped we enjoyed the show and I just reached my hand over like a sea of people and she shook my hand and
Oh.
I honestly don't think I said anything to her. But then she left and I like started like my eyes were welling up. I was like, I just met Madonna.
You had that moment with her
I
though.
did. So I sometimes worry that, I'd be a blithering idiot. I mean, I was tour manager. I will not lie. I saw him at the Chicago Theater in 2019 and I was kind of drunk. And I've
Just
talked to him.
kinda.
Yeah, I've talked to him before and he was going up the stairs and I may have I yelled, "Hey!" And then I
Oh
then
my
I kind of then
gosh.
I kind of smacked him on the shoulder, and he turned around. And he's like, "Oh, hey!" And then he remembered me. I was like, "Thank God!" But I was like, I was trying to get his attention.
Yeah.
And then he was like, taking pictures of the tattoos, and he would, he. The first time I met him, he brought out his camera and asked what Madonna meant to me, and it made me want to vomit because I kept looking at him, and he's like, "Don't look at me, look at her. Tell her, look at the camera." And I'm like, "Oh God." But he did that again, and I was more, I guess, since I was really drunk, it didn't matter.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was embarrassing. So hopefully, because I'd like to think I wouldn't do the same thing to her, but maybe she'd respect me if I treated her like one of the, the common folk.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure she's s- seen some or
Yeah,
met some pretty like, you know, like crazy people. So I mean,
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't like it. When I interviewed for my real job, and when they said, "Do I get starstruck around people?" and I said, "No," I said, "Unless it's Madonna, I'm fine." So I I do sometimes worry too when I do these podcasts. I'm like, okay, well, I hope that my career advances just so, but not enough where it's like I have to censor myself.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Well, I've talked sort of loosely about like the shows I've been on and like the people I've worked with, but like I don't know. It's not like I'm giving away trade secrets or plots or anything. So
Yeah.
eh. But yeah, that I worry about that because I'm like, well, they don't need to know. Not
Keep it a
everybody needs to know
mystery.
all my business.
Yeah, keep it a mystery.
I know. Life is a mystery.
Exactly.
All right. Well, before we get on
I know,
to
get into a whole other conversation.
global warming, I know.
Well, I mean, it was nice. I had a ton of fun. Thank you so much
Yeah.
again for
No,
having
thank
me
you for
on.
being on. It's just important. I can't stress that enough. It's just
Yeah.
I think that's what we're here to do is just lift up people.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you being on.
Of
And
course.
everyone go listen to Scream Queer.
Podcast every Tuesday.
Yes, every Tuesday.
Every Tuesday. All right. Well, thank you
Well,
again.
thank you, and I will talk to you soon. All right.
Sounds good. We'll talk
All
soon.
right.
Bye bye.
Bye.